Dear students, in the last video we studied the Coulomb's law. Right now we are going to study the Coulomb's law in a vector form. See, in the last video we studied the Coulomb's law, the very important equation, that is F dash equal to 1 by k times F. This is the very important equation. On the basis of this question, on the basis of this formulae, we have lots of questions. So keep in mind or learn this formula properly, right? Now we are moving towards the Coulomb's law in a vector form. For the vector form, we must have to consider a Cartesian coordinate system. X-axis, y-axis, origin, right? And suppose we are having the charge q1 over here and the charge q2 is over here. What is the position of charge with respect to origin? That will be represented by the vector, and that vector is known as the position vector. So R1 vector is known as the position vector of q1 charge with respect to O, right? Next, R2 vector, here it is a R2 vector. R2 vector is a position vector. R2 vector is a position vector of q2 charge with respect to O. So with respect to O means origin, right? Next, see what we are going to define over here. The charge q1 will exert a force on q2. Suppose these two, both the charges are of equal, means q1 is positive and q2 is also positive. Then we can say that the q1 will exert a force on q2, and that will be directed by the, like this. So this is the symbolized force acting on 2 due to the 1, right? This is the force exerted on 2 due to the 1. Similarly, in the same way we studied before in the Coulomb's law, the q2 will also exert a force on q1, and that will be directed like this. So this is the force acting on 1, force acting on due to 2. This is the force acting on 1 due to 2. So we will write over here, see what is F21. F21 means what? Force on 2 charge, force on second charge, force on q2 charge due to q1. Similarly, what is F12? F12 force acting on 1 due to 2. So F12 force on q1 due to q2, right? Okay. See, if we draw a vector from 1 to 2, if we draw a vector from 1 to 2, and that will be denoted by R21 vector. So what is R21? Very important, look at the board. R21 is what? It is a vector from 1 to 2. In a similar way, we can draw a vector from 2 to 1. So this is the vector from 2 to 1, and that can be represented by 1, 2, right? So R21, R21 and R12 are the vectors. R21 is a vector from 1 to 2. R12 is a vector from 2 to 1. Okay. So according to the Coulomb's law, we will write force acting on, suppose force acting on second due to 1 can be write like this: K, Q1, Q2. We studied the Coulomb's law. Distance between them, here we are writing like this. See, this is R21, magnitude of position vector R21, R21 vector square, distance square into that is R21 cap. Now the question arises in our mind, what is R21? So R21 cap is a unit vector in the direction of F21. We know that what is F21? Force acting on 2 due to 1. What is R21? R21 cap is a unit vector. R21 cap is a unit vector. In a similar way, we will write what is the force acting on 1 due to 2 using the same equation. See. Force acting on 1 due to 2. K Q1 Q2 divided by R12 vector magnitude square into R12 cap, right, where R12 cap is a vector by its magnitude, right, vector by its magnitude. This is equation number 2. F21 is equation number 1, right. This is the equation number 1. See students, the next question, that is here the F12 in the diagram what we studied, the F12 and F21 both are, see this is F21, this is F12 in the diagram. These two forces are equal in magnitude from equation 1 and 2. What we can say that both forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So that's why we will write the equation like this. The Q1 exerts force on Q2, Q2 exerts force on Q1. So that's why the magnitude of force will be same. So magnitude of F12 vector equal to magnitude of F21 vector, right. Only the direction is different. So that's why we write F12 vector equal to minus of F21 vector. So this is the equation number 3 and this is the equation number 4. So this is the Coulomb's law in a vector form, right. We are going to discuss some notes. Note 1. Coulomb's law follow the Newton's third law of motion. It follow, Coulomb's law follows Newton's third law. See what we studied in the diagram, the force, see the diagram, the Q1 exerts force on Q2 and Q2 exerts force on Q1. These two forces are in a opposite direction and equal in a magnitudes, right. So that's why we can say that they exert equal and opposite force. We can say that these two charges exerts equal and opposite forces. That's why it follows the Coulomb's third law. Second, that is, it is a central force. It is a central force. As we know that, suppose this is the Q1 charge and suppose this is the Q2 charge. The force acts along the line joining the centers of the two charges. Suppose this is the center of the Q1 charge, this is the center of the Q2 charge, and the force, the Q1 exerts force on Q2, Q2 force exerts on Q1. This force, this Coulombian force, this electrostatic force acts along the line joining them. So this is the imaginary line joining them, and along this line the forces are exerts. So that's why this is known as the central forces, correct? Okay, now we are going to do some discussion on this topic. Let's see. If Q1 and Q2 the product of Q1 and Q2 is greater than 0, what will be the force? Force either repulsive or attractive, that we are going to find out. Repulsive or attractive. C. Give me answer, right? We are going to discuss, and then afterwards you just find out, while my discussion you just find out your answer. F is repulsive or attractive. Let us see, Q1 is positive and Q2 is also positive. Suppose the value of Q1 equal to +2 charge, +2 coulomb sorry, and the value of Q2 is also +2 coulomb. If we put the value of 2, Q1 equal to 2, Q2 is equal to also 2, what is your answer? Your answer is 4, and it is a +4. +4 is greater than 0. So, what is the force between two plus charges? It will be obviously repulsive, right? So, in this way we can say that when the two charges are of equal to charges, at that time this condition will satisfy greater than 0 and force will be repulsive. What happens if the two charges are of -2 coulomb, -2 coulomb? Suppose Q1 equal to -2 coulomb, Q2 is also equal to -2 coulomb. So, multiplication of -2 into -2, it becomes again +4. Hence, the condition satisfied greater than 0, right. So, these are the two like charges. These are also two like charges. So, like charges are in repulsive. The force between the two like charges will be repulsive, right. Next question that we are going to see. What will happen if Q1, the product of Q1 and Q2 is less than 0? These are the MCQs asked in exams. So, Q1, the product of Q1 and Q2 is less than 0. What will happen in this case? So, same, see, suppose Q1 is equal to +2 coulomb and Q2 equal to suppose -2 coulomb. One is positive and one is negative. In that case only this condition will be satisfied. So, product of this +2 into -2, it becomes -4. -4 is less than 0. Means when the two charges are of different two charges, means unlike charges having a force of attractive in nature. So, the force between them will be attractive. When the two charges Q1 and Q2, when the product of these two charges less than 0, then the force will be attractive in nature. Suppose Q1 is -2 and Q2 is +2. In that case, see, the same situation will be there, -2 into +2, again the product is -4, the product is less than 0, right. The condition is satisfying over here, right. So, we can say that when the two charges are different, the force will be attractive, that we know that, right. Okay, so, here we finish the Coulomb's law in a vector form. Now, we will see the next topic, that is electric field. The new topic that we are going to start, that is electric field. Okay, electric field. Up till now we studied about the charge, and the charge exerts a force on another charge, that we know that they are exerting force on another charge. If we keep a charge over here, suppose we keep a one positive charge, so this charge will exert a repulsive force on this charge. So, we can say that, so if we put this charge over here, what will happen? So, again this charge will repel this charge. If we put charge over here, what will happen? This charge will repel a force on this charge. Means we can say that this charge is repelling to another charge. If we put minus charge, it will attract, not to worry, but we are discussing about only force. So, what I want to say that the force is present around this charge in all directions. There is a presence of force around this charge. It may be repulsive or it may be attractive. We will discuss afterwards because it depends on another charge, right. So, what I want to say that around the charge there is a presence of force, and area up to which the force is present, that area is known as the electric field, right. Suppose we are having the charge over here at a very long distance, right. So, the magnitude of force will be negligible or become small. So, that is why we will draw these things in a vector form like this, right. See, the length of arrow goes on decreasing. It indicates that the force is going to reduce as the distance increases, the magnitude of force becomes less, right. Okay. So, what we discussed, the definition of electric field, the area up to which the force is present, that area is known as the electric field, right. So, we know the electric field now, and we are going to discuss the next concept. See, suppose we are having a Cartesian coordinate system. This is the x axis, this is the y axis, right. And at the origin, suppose we are having a charge. At the origin, we are going to keep a one charge. What we studied? Around the charge, in all directions, radially outward, the presence of force. So, around this charge, the force is present, and that force denoted by the vector lines, right, radially outward. Suppose in that area we want to calculate the force at point P. Suppose in this area the point P is we choose and find out the electric field, what is the intensity of electric field at the point P, that we are going to calculate. For that purpose, we must have to put a one charge, and that should be a minimum charge, minimum. So, minimum magnitude of minimum charge, that is equal to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So, this one, it is known as this charge. Due to this, the force is present, that is why this charge is known as the source charge. Right. And here at point P, we are going to keep a one charge to find out the magnitude of intensity at point P. That is why this charge, this Q0 charge is known as the test charge. So, it is the test charge, it is the source charge due to which the force is present, and at point P we are going to calculate the intensity of electric field. That is why we have to put a one charge. This charge must be a minimum charge, that is why it is known as the test charge. So, intensity of electric field at point P we will find in our next video, correct. See, so we have solved some derivations over here. So, you can take the screenshots of this. Thank you, students.